It's like GPS for your life, the Sky Vibe Show. So you read your astrology sign, Leo, Scorpio, and you're like, that is not like me at all. Wait, there's more. Welcome to the Sky Vibe, Judi Diamond, along with professional astrologer Thomas Miller. Thomas, this happened to me when I first read the description of in just a newspaper or something. If you're born on this day, this is what you're like. And I went, I'm kind of like that, but no, I'm not like that. I'm more introverted than I'm that. And what do you say to that as a professional astrologer?
Don't read the newspaper.
Yeah, listen to the podcast.
No, I never connected with those. Those forecasts in the newspaper, I'm the same way as you. I look at that and you go, that's why astrology gets a bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
exactly.
So astrology goes back. I mean, there are arguments on how far back, but at least, let's say, 12,000 years. But I'm going to bring it even more contemporary, back to the Chaldean and Egyptian eras. Okay, so we're going back about 6,000 years, 4,000 BC-ish, okay? Roll that forward. And as we talked about in the last episode, even at the manger scene in the Bible were 3 astrologers. they had their charts. And I'll tell you how we know they had their charts is because if you remember in the New Testament, they went to Herod, King Herod, and they said, we have come to worship the king. And Herod was a egocentric kind of guy. And he said, whoa, what king? What are you talking about, a king? And they said, well, we saw his star in the sky, and we have come to worship him. Well, the thing is, they said they saw his star in the east, actually. But if you think about it, they were Persian astrologers. So if they were in Persia, if they were at home when they were seeing this chart, which I'm sure they were, because back then they had a huge volume of scrolls that they had to use in order just to comprise a chart. But where they came was west, not east. Uh-oh. Do we have a technical error? No, because the chart is a mirrored or reversed image. So it was east to them. So it really was. They were talking to Herod in terms of the chart, not the sky.
Right.
So you can't have, you can't have the manger scene without astrology because it would be backward. So
soak that in.
Let that sink in, yeah. But what happened is there was a tremendous body of knowledge around that time that gave us the astrology that we have today. However, the problem is the Catholic Church in the 1600s tried to wipe it all out, especially with the advent of the printing press. They did not want that material communicated on a mass level. So they tried to eradicate it, literally. They got a lot of it, but they didn't get all of it. So astrologers today have assembled what we know to comprise the, as we say, cookbook readings of these various things, came from a lot of these Greek, Latin, and other language texts that were written as far back as basically the time of Christ or just before. Now, what people do is they take that and then it has over the years been changed, modernized, etc., and you lose some of that initial real good flavoring and seasoning of things.
It gets watered down.
It does. And then, so in any kind of astrological interpretation, it's just like, have you ever been in therapy?
Please. How many times? Millions.
I have too. And I've worked with multiple therapists in my lifetime. What you get in that therapy session comes from their background and their training and their experiences and their perspective on life. There's no cookie cutter, like it's not robotic. It's very personal, and it's the same in astrology. So when you read a column from an astrologer, you're reading their perspective on Leo. There is no one single source of information about what Leo is supposed to look like, and somebody just misinterpreted that.
But astrology in its core is a system that has so many different elements to the system that it all fits different in each person. I'm not just a Leo born under the Leo sun. There's so much more as to what makes up. And Thomas, you did my chart, my natal chart. And it's just so much information that when you did my natal chart, that's when I went, okay, that's who I am. That's who I am. And there's so many things. It definitely a system, right? Would you say it's a system?
Oh, very much, yes.
But there's so many elements to it, from the planets to where they're placed to the houses to how one sign will relate to the other sign. So many things that this is why I reached out to Thomas and said, Thomas, we need to do this because I'm on all these social media platforms and it's like reading the paper. We're getting this one thing and it's not. People need more. They want to find out more.
Yeah, if you think about it, and this is part of the challenge with astrology, is you have to get past the learning curve in order to be able to kind of understand it. But the way it breaks down is that we have 10, and in astrological terminology, planets, although the sun and the moon are in that 10, they are obviously luminaries. That's really the technical thing. And then we have 8 planets. And those are the base archetypes. That's kind of what it's built on. And then those planets are located in the various constellations in the sky. And here's another technical piece we won't go into here, but there's something called the precession of the equinoxes. So that's when you look at the sun might be in, for example, Taurus, yet in the sky, it's not in Taurus. And there's a reason for that. And astrology is not wrong. It's just, it's part of the motion of basically the Earth and the sun's related orbit to each other. So you have that. And then so there's constellations 12. And then, as we talked about in the last episode, you have that great big circle that goes around the sky. The ecliptic line goes around the Earth, is cut into 12 pieces of pie. Think of that as just a great big pie. And you have 1 through 12. So you have 10 planets times 12 signs times 12 houses. And then you have about 6 or 8 primary aspects. Those are the geometric angles, geometry. Those are the angles to each other. And that's what you have to kind of, you got to put all of that together. But yes, what you're talking about is it is a snowflake kind of thing. And so you don't just do Leo where in the sky, Leo where along the circle. And then what is your moon? What is the people talk about the rising sign? That's the other of the big 3. It was where the sun comes up in the morning on the day that you were born. What sign was that? And you put all of that together, and that's how you get the seasoning and the flavoring of it all.
And that's what my hope is, and I know Thomas agrees with me. With your help, Thomas, is that we're going to break it down like that, because I go on these social media sites all the time and I see, and they're funny to watch and I love them and I like all of them because they're fun, but they go, oh yeah, I'm a Leo because, I'm a Scorpio because, and what are the best signs? That's my favorite, is the ones that they go, the best sign, the most fiery, and you want to hear your sign. Yeah, I'm a Leo. I'm the best sign. Of course, I'm going to think that because I'm a Leo, but then you go, they're all best. I mean, okay, Aquarius, yeah, you kick ass, but you're kind of annoying. I'm kidding. But there is no best or worst. They all got to work together. Aquarians drive me nuts. And then I find out from good old Thomas here that I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart. They drive me crazy. But there is no best. There is no worst. There is no hottest, coldest. They just all can work in our chart, which is what I think is amazing. All the signs somehow always come through in our charts.
You know, one of the questions some people have is, well, what about if I don't have any planets in a sign or in an area? Am I dead?
Or in a house.
Yeah.
I have done in a certain house, yeah.
Is that dead for me? No, not at all. Not at all. And we'll talk about this more, but basically every sign, every house has what's called in astrology. It's kind of a medieval term. I'm looking to change the terminology, but I won't do it.
You should come up with your own Thomas Miller astrology speak.
They say it's ruled by. Well, we're getting ready to come into this age of Aquarius, as everybody knows, and there ain't gonna be no rule by in Aquarius. It's like that's gonna be the ultimate. Oh no! Don't tell me what to do. So it's like, but in astrology, there is this pecking order of hierarchy, if you will, and ruled by is kind of the common term that you say. Well, that's if you don't have any planets in a given area, you just look at what planet rules that area, and that's where you get.
I was hoping it was going to mean, I don't have to deal with that,
No,
in this lifetime. And it's like, no. Tom was like, no, that's not what that means.
Judy says, I don't have anything in my 7th house of relationships. I was cheated at the door.
I knew it. I'm going to be alone the rest of my life.
Not at all.
I do see patterns, which is hilarious, though, on the men that I've been choosing, and their signs and all this. I go, oh my gosh.
What was I thinking?
What was I thinking? I should know better. And that's a great thing for anybody. And again, if you are coming to this and you've always been interested and you want to know more, I think you're going to learn so much. I love the simple ones that everybody knows. Mercury, well, not everybody, but ones who feel it, Mercury in retrograde, they feel it. When there's a full moon, they feel it. This is going to break it down more, which I love.
Yeah, we'll try to make it understandable and relevant to you as well.
Maybe I'll find myself the right man. No, it's not about that.
That's why we're doing this podcast.
Right, just for me. There's the Leo coming out of me. Make sure to follow Thomas Miller's other podcasts, including Fun Astrology and Old Soul, New Soul. And you can also find out about getting your own astrology readings. Thank you for listening.